We're gonna give you the top 4 banded exercises for golf, and we're gonna start right now. Okay, so we've got to look at what is golf, right? We have to have a large amount of skill. So there's a ton of practice that goes into golfing. You have to have a ton of control over the club head. And it all starts from the ground up. If we can think about training our feet, that has to be very, very imperative. We want to think about our proprioception. And then we want to get into how that translates the force in the ground into our hips. Okay, so if we understand how that force in the ground transfers into our hips, that's gonna help us have better control. Ideally, it's gonna help us have better club speed. And long-term, we're gonna have better control, better club speed. We can hit the ball more precisely and at longer distances. And the first step that I like to do then is go, all right, what sport or what sports is this very, very similar to? And if we look at like the hammer throw or shot put or discus or javelin, we can see there's tremendous carryover from the ground up into these events. So it comes down to understanding rotational forces, understanding technique and what technique does for that club speed, and then looking through the lens of each specific player and saying, hey, this individual's got tightness in their shoulder. This individual might have tightness in their lower back. It's the same process that we go through when we're trying to build world champion discus throwers, trying to build world champion shot putters. It's the exact same process, but we're doing it for a different sport. Now, the sport is also played over 18 holes. It might last 3 hours, so we have to have a bit of power endurance as well. And that's where going to the range and practicing those strokes when you're fatigued will pay off tremendously inside of the game. Okay, so that first exercise, we're gonna hold a split position. Okay, so we're gonna hold a split position and work on the deceleration of the band. Now, some of the band exercises that we're gonna do won't be exactly the movement that you see on the course, but it's important to try to feel those positions, to feel the forces from the ground into your hips and into your upper body. So we're gonna hold this split position here and we're gonna do both sides, all right? So we're here, holding this across at about 45 degrees, so we're split position, banded rotation. Okay, come forward, and now we wanna go nice and slow. Feel the feet through the hip and hold this hip square. That's a key factor in golf, is that we wanna hold this square. We don't want our hips rotating like crazy all over the place. We want them to rotate, but we want to feel the force through there without being too disadvantaged in our mechanics. So this is where we're gonna learn that mechanical tension and that mechanical control. So we're here, rotate back, and we can let go here. We get a little more force in that hip, boom, come forward, slow eccentric. Come back, release, 1, 2, forward, okay? So we can slowly pick up that speed, and we're gonna feel this in our core, in our abs. That's the big factor with golf. It comes back to feet, hips, and core. Hold that, one more, and you're gonna start to feel this even in your lower back. Oh. Do this 2 to 4 sets, 10 reps on each side. That second key band exercise is gonna be banded contacts, okay? Now, bear with me, I'm not a golfer. I haven't golfed since I was in 8th grade when I hit a hole-in-one at Willow Hollow. You can go look on the board there. But my technique's terrible. I'm also left-handed, but for some reason, I always golf right-handed, okay? So bear with me when I'm demonstrating this and try and see this as helping with contact. And so what we wanna do here is this hypothetical club. Okay, we've got our power elastic. You can pick that up at garagestrength.com if you want a band of this nature. And you come forward to that contact point, okay? Obviously, you don't want to be as tight as I am. You hold, come back. 1, 2, 3, forward. 1, 2, 3, forward. 1, 2, 3, forward. And you want to feel that contact position. You want to feel what's happening with your feet. You want to feel what's happening with your core. What ends up happening when you're doing that contact drill and you hold that tension, you're going to start to feel what your abs should be doing relative to what your hips and your feet are doing. So now you can close that loop off. And when you close that loop, you understand ground forces from your feet. And then you understand the forces from your trunk going back into the feet, okay? And that's gonna help you produce more force when you make contact with the ball. Okay, so these last 2 exercises are gonna be paired together, and one of the big factors that I like with our power elastics and where it can transfer really well and help a lot of the local golfers here is that you can do this with this handle, okay? So we're here, we have this, and we come forward, and we wanna hold all the way across, come back nice and slowly, okay? Here, forward, all the way across, come back nice and slowly. Again, we've got to focus on the technique that you've been taught. I'm not the best technical golfer because I don't golf. Understand the movement pattern and how you can use this. So you could pick up the power elastic and then take the lessons that you're using with your instructor and actually use these to improve that trunk control. If we have more trunk control, we can put that energy into the ball. That's the main factor here, is feel those ground forces up into the hips, and then from the hips into the core, from the core into the hands, okay? So this is that third key exercise. Now we're gonna get to that last one. And sometimes with this last one, I would lower the handle. I have it a little bit higher here, about 7 feet. I would lower this to about 5 feet most of the time. But now we're gonna hold here with the handle, okay? And we're gonna come across like we're taking this swing. So we're gonna have a little bit more of a backswing where this comes back, okay? Now we're here, we're hit, come forward. Forward, okay? Forward. Back, so you have that backswing, boom. Forward, nice and controlled. And the eccentric portion, the portion when you're coming backwards here, that's when you're gonna start to feel it all in the left side of your hip, your piriformis, into your core. We come back, we rotate, come down nice and hard, nice and easy on the way back, okay? And I think you should be doing these at least twice a week, 3 to 5 sets, 10 to 12 reps. It's gonna drastically strengthen your core. It's gonna help with that hip connection into your core and into your feet. And in turn, that's gonna lead to better club speed and better club control. And that's gonna help you out on the links to dominate, especially on the weekend when you're trying to beat your buddies. If you guys want help with your golf-based training, pick up our Power Elastics, or you want a program to improve your overall golf, click on the link down below, head over to peakstrength.app, and you can pick up our app today to help you with your golf-based strength training. Until next time, guys, if you want to become champions, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.